Hello everybody and welcome again to lyra.com. And first of all, I want to wish you all a happy new year 2018, that you stay healthy, that you become healthy, and of course, as last year and the years before, we're gonna do our best to help you do this in a natural, side effect free way, of course. And today's presentation is gonna be all about a healthy respiratory tract, lungs, bronchs, all of that. And we've talked already before about all the other crucial organs in your body, the cardiovascular system, your heart, the liver, the kidneys, and how to maintain them. So today is going to be all about how to do the same for your lungs. They are one of the most important organs in your body. We're going to see why, and then we're going to go in depth about natural remedies, how to dose them, and all the things you need to know about them. So without further ado, let's get started and learn how you can stay healthy and keep your lungs maintained and your bronchs and your whole respiratory tract so you are working perfectly. So why do we need to talk about your respiratory tract, the problems with it, and the lungs, and why does it matter? Well, because first of all, according to the United States Environmental Protection Agency, the average person takes between 17,000 and 23,000 breaths a day. And for the healthy, this is a simple process, but for millions of people with respiratory problems, breathing is not easy. And currently, unfortunately, more than 25 million people in the US alone have asthma. Approximately 14.8 million adults have been diagnosed with COPD, and approximately 12 million have not yet been diagnosed but are supposed to have it as well. And our cells need the oxygen as well as the nitrous oxide that is in the air to survive. And one of the waste products produced by cells is another gas that you know well of called carbon dioxide. And the respiratory system takes up the oxygen and the nitrous oxide from the air that we breathe and expels the unwanted carbon dioxide. And the main organ of the respiratory system is your lungs. Let's go into a little bit of background information on how your respiratory tract works. The cells of the human body require a constant stream of oxygen as well as nitrogen oxide to stay alive, and the respiratory system provides this oxygen and nitrous oxide to the body cells while removing the carbon dioxide, as we've discussed, which is a waste product that can be lethal if allowed to accumulate. And there are three major parts of the respiratory system, as you can see also in the picture: the airways, the lungs, and the muscles of respiration. The airway, which includes the nose, the mouth, the pharynx, the larynx, the trachea, the bronchi, and bronchioles, carries the air between the lungs and the body's exterior. The lungs act as the functional units of the respiratory system by passing oxygen into the body and carbon dioxide out of the body. And finally, the muscles of respiration, including the diaphragm and the intercostal muscles, work together to act as a pump, pushing air into and out of the lungs during breathing, as we all know and feel every day. The lungs are a pair of large spongy organs found in the thorax, lateral to the heart and superior to your diaphragm, and each lung is surrounded by a so-called pleural membrane that provides the lung with space to expand as well as a negative pressure space relative to the body's exterior. The negative pressure allows the lungs to passively fill with air as they relax, and the left and right lungs are slightly different in size and shape due to the heart pointing to the left side of your body. The left lung is therefore slightly smaller than the right lung and is made up of 2 lobes, while the right lung has 3 lobes. The interior of the lungs is made up of spongy tissues containing many capillaries and around 30 million tiny sacs known as alveoli. And the alveoli are cup-shaped structures found at the end of the terminal bronchioles and surrounded by capillaries. And the alveoli are lined with thin, simple squamous epithelium that allows air entering the alveoli to exchange its gases with the blood that is passing through the capillaries. How does your respiration process work in detail? Well, there is the so-called pulmonary ventilation, which is the process of moving air into and out of your lungs to facilitate this gas exchange that we've discussed. And the respiratory system uses both a negative pressure system and a contraction of muscles to achieve this pulmonary ventilation. The negative pressure system of the respiratory system involves the establishment of a negative pressure gradient between your alveoli and the external atmosphere. Then there is the pleural membrane that seals the lungs and maintains the lungs at a pressure slightly below that of the atmosphere when the lungs are at rest. And this results in air following the pressure gradient and passively filling the lungs at rest. As the lungs fill with air, the pressure within the lungs rises until it matches the atmospheric pressure. And at this point, more air can be inhaled by the contraction of the diaphragm and the external intercostal muscles, increasing the volume of the thorax and reducing the pressure of the lungs below that of the atmosphere again. To exhale air, the diaphragm and external intercostal muscles relax, while the internal intercostal muscles contract to reduce the volume of the thorax and increase the pressure within the thoracic cavity. The pressure gradient is now reversed, resulting in the exhalation of air until the pressure inside the lungs and outside of the body are equal again. At this point, the elastic nature of the lungs causes them to recoil back to their resting volume, restoring the negative pressure gradient present during your inhalation. External respiration is the exchange of gases between the air filling your alveoli and the blood in the capillaries surrounding the walls of the alveoli. And air entering the lungs from the atmosphere has a higher partial pressure of oxygen and a lower partial pressure of carbon dioxide than does the blood in your capillaries, and the difference in partial pressure causes the gases to diffuse passively along their pressure gradients from high to low pressure through the simple squamous epithelium lining of your alveoli. The net result of external respiration is the movement of oxygen from the air into the blood and the movement of carbon dioxide from the blood into the air. And again, not only oxygen, but also nitrous oxide is very important, as we will see later on. The oxygen can then, as well as the nitrous oxide again, then can be transported to your body's tissues, while carbon dioxide is released into the atmosphere during exhalation. And there is also then internal respiration, which is the exchange of gases between the blood in your capillaries and the tissues of the body. Capillary blood has a higher partial pressure of oxygen and a lower partial pressure of carbon dioxide than the tissues through which it passes, and this difference in partial pressures leads to the diffusion of gases along the pressure gradients from high to low pressure through the endothelium lining of your capillaries. And the net result of internal respiration is the diffusion of oxygen into your tissue and the diffusion of carbon dioxide into your blood. Okay, now that we know how our respiration and respiratory tract works, a list of diseases, possible diseases with them. So it starts with bronchitis, over asthma, chronic obstructive pulmonary disease, TBC, tuberculosis, and it goes all the way up to lung cancer, and you can see the full list here, and of course also like colds, flus, influenza, etc. And here you have a full list of possible respiratory diseases. You can go by them one by one quietly if you want by pausing this presentation right here. So next we need to talk about what causes respiratory disorders, and apart from bacteria and viruses and air pollution, bad nutrition, there is another very important thing that you have to pay attention to, and this is the so-called psycho-emotional conflicts that can cause even very severe respiratory problems such as lung cancer. It's also called a biological conflict, and a biological conflict that is linked to the lung alveoli is a so-called death-fright conflict, because in biological terms the death panic is equated with not being able to breathe. And the control center on the right side of the brainstem relates to not being able to catch the air morsel, that is, not being able to inhale. And the control center on the left side of the brainstem relates to not being able to eliminate the air morsel. That means not being able to exhale, for example, due to hyperventilation. Death-fright conflict can be experienced in any life-threatening situation, for example, in the course of an accident or during a medical emergency. But by far the most common death-fright conflict is brought on by a diagnosis shock, particularly by a cancer diagnosis that hits the person like a death sentence. Statements by physicians such as the cancer is malignant, inoperable, aggressive, invasive, metastasizing, or remarks like you have only 6 months to live, and other verdicts of this kind can evoke an acute death panic and trigger this so-called death fright conflict. The same holds true for negative prognoses and test results based on medical checkups, such as PEP tests, PSA tests, mammograms, colonoscopies, and blood tests. And we also have to take into account potential self-diagnosis shocks that are triggered, for instance, when detecting a lump, let's say in your breast, or when there is blood in your stool, in your urine, or in the vagina, or with the other symptoms associated with having cancer, which is perceived as a deadly disease. And looking for information about a particular symptom on the internet with the countless websites that are propagating the concept of malignant diseases can also easily activate a death fright conflict. And this death fright conflict might also come about when a member of the family, a beloved friend, or a pet is affected by something, by a disease. Multiple lung nodules reveal that the death fright conflict relates to yourself, and a single lung nodule forms if you have suffered a conflict with or for another person or an animal. 2 nodules develop for 2 people, for example, a death fright for both parents, and 3 nodules for 3 people, and so on. All psycho-emotional conflicts have 2 phases, the so-called conflict active phase and the healing phase, and the behavior and the symptoms are different in those 2 phases. In the conflict active phase, when you start with the psycho-emotional shocking conflict, during this phase the lung alveoli cells proliferate proportionally to the intensity of the conflict, and the biological purpose of the cell increase is to improve the function of the lungs by supplying the organism with more oxygen, so that you are in a better position to escape from this life-threatening situation. With prolonged conflict activity, which is called a hanging conflict, the flat-growing lung nodules, which are of the absorptive type, referred to also as lung cancer, develop as a result of the continuing cell augmentation. And if the rate of cell division exceeds a certain limit, conventional medicine considers the cancer to be malignant. And then there is the healing phase, and following the conflict resolution, fungi or mycobacteria such as TB bacteria remove the cells that are no longer required, and healing symptoms are coughing up milky or rusty colored phlegm. The sputum might contain also blood, and because of the pus in the discharge, the symptoms might be diagnosed as purulent pneumonia or lung infection. And another typical healing symptom of the healing phase is night sweats. If fungi assist the healing, this causes lung candidiasis or so-called pulmonary fungal infection. Careful also that during the healing process the lung tissue is very soft, so a jerky or vigorous move could rupture the lungs potentially, which will result in acute bleeding, which is called pulmonary hemorrhaging. The lung cancer can be located on the lung alveoli, the bronchi, the trachea, the pleura, and the goblet cells, and each of these types of cancer manifests in the conflict active phase as well as during the healing phase differently. The triggers in form of psycho-emotional conflicts are also different for each cancer type, and we will go more in depth into this in a future presentation on lung cancer specifically. So stay tuned for that. Alright, now that we know what the possible disorders are, how your respiratory tract works, what causes these respiratory problems, let's go into the meat of this presentation, and this is natural remedies for your respiratory tract and your lungs that have zero side effects and have been proven to work extremely well. And we're gonna go through this whole list, starting with L-carnitine, L-arginine, OPCs, vitamins, magnesium, MSM, cordyceps, rose blossom tea, COLTSFOOT tea, ELECAMPANE root, SENEGA, and other homeopathic remedies. And we're gonna talk a little bit more in depth about each one of them. And the first natural remedy that we highly recommend to use when you have respiratory problems or to prevent them from developing in the first place is L-carnitine. And especially important, L-carnitine, it is for proper development of all of the organs in children. Most children, by the way, are born with carnitine deficiency nowadays, so it's extremely important to supplement your daily diet with L-carnitine, especially when you are pregnant. It has been proven in a 2012 study that you can Google very easily to significantly improve lung function in the asthmatic children who received L-carnitine supplementation than in those who did not. That are the words of the researchers, by the way. That's why they are put into hyphens. Cannot be overdosed, as the surplus is excreted naturally, so no worries about that. You can find it naturally in sheep and goat meat especially. Goat meat, for example, has 1,700 milligrams per kilogram of meat. You need about 25 grams of carnitine in your body at all times, and the recommended dose is 1 gram per day for children and about 3 to 4 grams per day for adults. You can take, for example, 2.5 grams for 10 days and you're gonna get the 25 grams that are needed at all times in your body, not only for maintaining perfect lung health, but in general for maintaining your organs. Another very important supplement is arginine or L-arginine. It plays a very important role in cell division, in wound healing, in removing ammonia from your body, in your immune function, and the release of hormones. It is a precursor for the synthesis of nitric oxide, making it important for the regulation of your blood pressure. And as the amino acid called L-arginine converts to nitric oxide within the wall of your blood vessels, nitric oxide is crucial for your blood vessels and the dilation of your lung vessels. It is the building block for proteins, and as we all know, we are made up of water over 70% and proteins. Generally, it is a tonic for your body. It expands the alveoli into the arteries for improved oxygen supply to ensure perfect working conditions for your whole respiratory tract and your body in general. It is much more preferable to cortisone, of course, as it has not all of the side effects of cortisone. And the recommended dosage is 1 to 4 grams per day. Next up is OPC or OPCs, as well known as the grapeseed extract. OPC contains real antioxidant protection based upon 50 years of research by Dr. Jacques Masquelier and Berkim Laboratories in southern France. The main ingredient, OPCs, is extracted from grape seeds and pine bark and provides superior antioxidant protection that is 50 times more powerful than vitamin E and 20 times more powerful than vitamin C. And proanthanols help all other antioxidants, including vitamin C and E, work better also. OPCs protect also your cells against free radical attacks and support the collagen structure of all the organs in your body. It helps improve blood circulation to your lungs and your respiratory system, as well as your whole body, of course, and it is a natural blood thinner. And we recommend that you take about 1 to 4 capsules per day. What else do you need? Well, vitamins. And Most importantly, vitamin D3 and K2. Vitamin D3, also known as the sunshine vitamin, was first described in 1936. It is on the World Health Organization's list of essential medicines, and it is the most effective and safe medicine needed in a healthy system. It has been proven to reduce the risk of lung cancer, asthma, and other respiratory diseases, and it is essential for producing new healthy lung cells. We recommend that you take 40 drops, eat 10,000 units each for about 10 days, and also supplement it with vitamin K2 to support the absorption and the metabolism of D3. And here the recommended dosage is 10 drops per day for K2. You should also not forget about vitamin C. Vitamin C is an essential nutrient that is involved in the repair of your tissue and the enzymatic production of certain neurotransmitters. It is required for the functioning of several enzymes, and it is very important for your immune system function as well. It also functions as an antioxidant, so it is crucial for the production of collagen, and which is the building block of your pulmonary alveoli. And the recommended dosage here is 300 to 500 milligrams per day. And you also need to take on some minerals to maintain perfect respiratory tract health. And one of the most important ones is magnesium. More than 300 enzymes require magnesium ions for the catalytic reaction, including all of the enzymes using or synthesizing ATP and those that use other nucleotides to synthesize DNA as well as RNA. The ATP molecule is normally found in a chelate with a magnesium ion, and it is recommended in general as a concomitant treatment with all of the respiratory diseases by us. Also often overlooked, but very, very crucial for maintaining general health and, of course, specifically the health of your respiratory tract, is biologically active sulfur, also known as MSM. It is one of the most critical nutrients for our bodies to remain youthful and energetic, and as we age, along with a diet deficient in essential nutrients, our bodies become stiff, our cells become rigid, and our overall energy begins to rapidly decelerate. And MSM improves skin health and complexion, it improves flexibility, it detoxifies the body, it strengthens your hair and nails, it accelerates healing in general, and it naturally increases energy, and it is also anti-inflammatory, so great for bronchitis and all of the other inflammatory diseases that you can have in your respiratory tract. And nature provides us with much more than just vitamins and minerals, and that we've discussed already. It gives us also some great healing mushrooms and herbs, and that's what we're gonna go through next. First up, the mushroom called cordyceps. Cordyceps contains, in addition to vitamins, minerals, as well as trace elements, some very special amino acids called cordycepin, ergosterol, and L-tryptophan. It results in 55% better oxygenation of your lung, provenly so, and it vitalizes the lung and all of your other organs. We recommend that you therefore take it daily. It has no side effects. The recommended dosage is 2 times 2 capsules a day. Another herbal remedy that we highly recommend is so-called rose blossom tea. It is otherwise known also a rosebud tea, and rose tea is a very healthy, not to mention delicious beverage made from either dehydrated or fresh rose petals. The healing powers of rose petals have been known for centuries, and today they are used to make therapeutic essential oils as well as being enjoyed as a nutritious tea. There is evidence that roses were used in Asian medicine to heal a vast array of sicknesses, and these medicinal uses include treating chest and abdominal pains, menstrual bleeding, and digestive issues. But roses were also used to reduce inflammation in various parts of the body and to ease coughing. There is also evidence that oil extracted from roses was used as a mild laxative and to treat emotional symptoms like depression, grief, and anxiety. And it is great for strengthening the lung, especially when you're facing severe air pollution. We also highly recommend COLTSFOOT tea. COLTSFOOT is a low-growing perennial with fleshy, woolly leaves. A member of the Asteraceae family, COLTSFOOT produces a single golden yellow flower head that blossoms in spring. It also has been part of Chinese folk medicine for centuries. And as part of its Latin name, tussilago implies, COLTSFOOT is reputed as an antitussive. The buds, the flowers and leaves of COLTSFOOT have been long used in traditional medicine for dry cough as well as throat irritation. The plant has found particular use in Chinese herbal medicine for the treatment of respiratory diseases that we're talking here about, including cough, asthma, as well as acute and chronic bronchitis. It is also a component of numerous European commercial herbal preparations for the treatment of respiratory disorders in general. We recommend that you drink it on a regular basis, but careful, don't use it all the time as it can possibly tax your liver. Another great herbal remedy is the so-called elecampane root. Elecampane is used for lung diseases including asthma, bronchitis, as well as whooping cough. It's also used to prevent coughing, especially coughing caused by tuberculosis, as well as an expectorant to help loosen the phlegm so it can be coughed up more easily. Other uses include improving your stomach function, treating nausea as well as diarrhea, and killing worms that can live in your intestine. And these worms include hookworm, roundworm, threadworm, and whipworm. It is the only plant that promotes the regeneration of lung tissue. It has been proven to be tumor inhibiting, even as well as a great expectorant, as we've mentioned already. And now on to homeopathic remedies, because those has also proven to be great remedies for lung problems as well as the respiratory tract problems in general. And one of the most important ones that we recommend is SENEGA. SENEGA was introduced to medical practice by Dr. Tennant of Virginia, who was led to test its properties through hearing that the Indians used it as an antidote to snake bites. As it relieved the symptoms of snake's venom, Tennant concluded that it might also relieve dyspnea, cough, and hemoptysis arising from other causes, and gave it with success in cases of pneumonia, pleurisy, and hydrothorax, which is also called testing. Other old school practitioners use it as an expectorant in chronic respiratory catarrh, acute phthisis, rheumatic fever, dropsies, incipient cataract, as well as croup. It is at present regarded as a stimulant, diaphoretic, and expectorant, especially in chronic bronchitis. It is in affections of the chest, the eyes, and bladder that homeopaths have found it the most service, and the extensive provings have supplied excellent dates for prescribing SENEGA. We recommend that you take SENEGA D12 or D6. But there are other great homeopathic remedies for respiratory tract problems. For asthma, for example, we have all of this. Arsenic album. The symptoms indicative for using arsenic album are suffocative cough, wheezing, and shortness of breath. Asthma that gets worse around midnight is also treated well with the arsenic album. Another important guiding feature for using arsenic album is asthma with skin rash or eczemas. Then also recommended for asthma is Spongia tosta. It's a wonderful homeopathic medicine for asthma with dry cough. The cough in this case can be deep, barking, or hacking type. The cough is attended with extreme dryness of all of your air passages. Along with dry cough, whistling from the chest on inspiration is noted. Respiration is also difficult, and in most cases warm drinks bring relief from the cough. We also recommend antimonium tartaricum, which is an excellent homeopathic medicine for asthma with excessive rattling cough. The cough is loose, rattling, and the lungs feel full of mucus. Mucus from the lungs is raised with much difficulty also. Respiration is rapid and difficult. Excessive suffocation is observed, and the suffocation worsens on lying down with a need to sit up even. For those conditions, antimonium tartaricum is great. Ipecac and Sambucus nigra are also wonderful homeopathic medicines for treating asthma in children. Ipecac works well when there is excessive coughing with mucus rails in your chest. The cough is accompanied by suffocation, shortness of breath, and gasping for air. The child may become blue even and stiff during the asthma attack. Homeopathic medicine, which is called Sambucus nigra, is indicated for night asthma episodes in children. A child in need of Sambucus nigra wakes up suddenly at night with cough and suffocation. Dulcamara and Natrum sulfuricum are also very useful homeopathic medicines for asthma, especially in damp weather. Among them, Dulcamara is the best prescription for loose, rattling, asthmatic cough in damp weather where the person has to cough a long time to expel the phlegm. Natrum sulfuricum is the most helpful homeopathic medicine where cough with thick, ropey green phlegm is present. Natrum sulfuricum also works very well where there is asthma that worsens around 4 to 5 a.m. Natrum sulfuricum is also among the top grade homeopathic medicines for treating asthma in children. And last but not least, for asthma, Nux vomica. It's a very prominent homeopathic medicine for asthma, especially in winter. Cough with wheezing and oppressed breathing arise in the cold weather. The cough may be prominently dry in the evening and nighttime, but loose with expectoration during the day. Suffocative asthma attacks after midnight are also best treated with Nux vomica, and it's also of great help in gastric asthma. But that's not all. There are other great homeopathic remedies for asthma. Blatta orientalis and bromium are also significant homeopathic medicines for asthma that is triggered by exposure to dust especially. Blatta orientalis is prescribed for cough with difficult respiration and pus-like mucus. Homeopathic medicine known as bromium is selected where there is cough with rattling of mucus, suffocation, and difficulty in breathing after exposure to dust. Also recommended is Carbovec, which shows the most amazing results in asthma for aged people. Carbovec is prescribed in case of cough with burning pain in your chest. Expectoration is present in the morning. The phlegm is mainly yellow or pus-like and has sour, salty, or putrid taste. The cough gets worse in the evening. There is frequent need to take deep breaths. Wheezing and rattling of mucus are also prominent. It is also the medicine to use where the cough worsens as one goes from a warm place to a cold place, and it is the medicine to go for treating asthma that worsens with acidity and flatulency. We also recommend Drosera rotundifolia and Cocos cacti. Gives wonderful results when treating asthma cough. There are features guiding the use of those homeopathic remedies are dry and highly irritating coughing. The paroxysms of cough follow each other rapidly. Talking may worsen the cough. Also, rough scraping sensation in your throat may attend. Drosera rotundifolia is also the homeopathic medicine to prescribe for nocturnal coughing. Homeopathic medicine known as Cocos cacti is indicated where the cough with much suffocation and strangling sensation in the throat predominates. Cocos cacti also works well for spasmodic cough that ends in vomiting. Aconite napellus is another excellent homeopathic medicine for asthma that worsens especially with cold air. Coughing starts soon after exposure to cold air, while the whistling sound in the chest exists. Whistling is mainly present during the inspiration phase, and shortness of breath and chest oppression is also felt. Lobelia inflata is another homeopathic medicine that we highly recommend, especially for treating asthma in smokers. The person needing Lobelia inflata has difficult short respiration with cough, complaints of oppressed feeling in the chest, and feels like there's a lump in the throat. Few persons who need homeopathic medicines like Lobelia inflata also complain of a burning sensation in the chest. And there are also some great homeopathic remedies for bronchitis, of course. First up, Bryonia alba. It's the top natural homeopathic medicine for treating bronchitis and is mainly used when the cough is dry. Mucus, if present, is very difficult to cough out and may be rusty colored. Bryonia alba can also prove very useful for treatment of severe chest pains during coughing, and the patient usually feels relief by taking rest and gets worse on motion. The patient may show also an increased thirst for large quantities of water. Phosphorus, when the patient has a dry cough and the cough is renewed by laughing and talking. Cold air usually worsens also the cough. Excessive heat in the chest could be another accompanying symptom. The patient at times complains also of tightness, heaviness, and oppression of the chest, along with the chest pain. The mucus, when expectorated, may be even blood-stained, and the patient may also have a craving for cold drinks, ice cream, and juices. That's when you need to use phosphorus. Again, antimonium tart is very effective for bronchitis when the bronchial tubes are overloaded with mucus. The mucus rattles also in the chest sometimes. The mucus is not coughed out with ease. If it does cough out, the quantity is meager. Antimonium tart is of great help in emptying the bronchial tubes by aiding the expectoration of the mucus present in your bronchial tubes. Also recommended Spongia toaster for patients especially presented with a dry cough and complete dryness of the air passages. There is a total absence of any mucus rails in the chest. Mainly warm drinks provide relief to these patients, and the patient also at times complains of chest oppression, weakness, and difficulty in breathing. Ipecac, great for asthma, also great for bronchitis, especially with the constant cough and rattling of mucus in the chest. Even constant coughing does not seem to help in expelling the mucus from the bronchi. Ipecac helps in expelling the mucus out with the least effort. An important feature also for using this homeopathic remedy is vomiting with coughing, providing some relief to the patient. Calimor and Calisulf are the best for using in cases of bronchitis when the mucus rattles in your chest and the patient has to put in a lot of effort to cough it out. Calimor helps as an ideal expectorant. The homeopathic medicine known as Calisulf is the best choice for natural bronchitis treatment when yellow-colored mucus is spitted out, and Pulsatilla is the ideal herbal medicine for bronchitis when the green mucus is spitted out. Also, we recommend belladonna and rus tox, which are very important homeopathic remedies for bronchitis when it is accompanied by fever. Belladonna is the first top natural homeopathic remedy for fever when extreme heat in your body is present with bronchitis, and there is usually also an absence of thirst. And last but not least, Silicea gives good results when chill and shivering are present with your bronchitis, and homeopathic medicine known as rus tox is prescribed when the utmost body aches accompany fever in your bronchitis. So let's sum this all up. What have we learned today? Well, a perfectly functioning lung is essential for general health as it provides your body with the necessary oxygen as well as nitrogen oxide that your cells need, and it also, of course, gets rid of the carbon dioxide in your system. Today's polluted environment unfortunately puts a very big burden on your respiratory tract, and as we've seen, the numbers are rising for respiratory tract problems, and that's why we need to take care of it. And with proven natural remedies, such as the ones discussed in these presentations, like L-carnitine, l-arginine, vitamins D3, K2, as well as vitamin C, OPC, so grape seed extract, magnesium, MSM, but also cordyceps mushrooms, ELECAMPANE root, COLTSFOOT, rose blossom tea, and all the homeopathic remedies that we've mentioned, you can maintain your respiratory tract in perfect health without any side effects, and you can treat existing conditions also without side effects and pretty risk-free. And as always, I hope you've enjoyed these presentations. If you did, please like, share and subscribe. It helps us out a lot. And if you have any further question, you need personal advice or consultation, call us up at 1-888-773-3196. That is 1-888-773-3196, or at shop@lyranara.com. I'm gonna post also the link in the description box below. And you can also accompany your treatment with our unique, affordable, holistic body scans to manage your progress and see what really works for you. It's very inexpensive. We highly recommend it. I'm gonna also post a link in the description box below to this, or call us up again and we're gonna recommend to you whatever fits your particular need. We're gonna advise you and consult you specifically. And for a fully personalized treatment, please book our online doctor services. You're gonna find the description box below, again, the link to it. And with that being said, have a nice day wherever you are, whatever time it is, and as always, stay healthy.